Now we're going to be getting into probably the most important thing when doing reference or like using your own photo reference or reference from other people. You need to understand where to put the emphasis. Again, this all revolves around just because it's real life, just because the camera took the picture, does not mean it's good design. All right, so let's go into that a little bit. Where do we put the emphasis? Where do we put the emphasis? All right, for that, we're going to put up our reference here. My first thing would be to tell a student is to do a bunch of figure drawing, but I'm just gonna go ahead and assume that you've already been told that 1,000 times. So yeah, obviously do a bunch of good figure drawing, but aside from that, on the side, if you can do this, that would just be so nice. Oh my God, it would just be so freaking awesome. All right, I love this person's submission. Really cool stuff here, but I can see where it was difficult to understand the pose. I have broken down so many different photos of myself. I've broken down so much good art, did figure drawing so much that I know where to put emphasis in this. All right, here, I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about here. All right, I'm gonna take your little face. I can already tell, and this is pretty tough because this is foreshortened, but this is the knee. All right, this is the calf. I can see that. I know where to put the emphasis here. This part comes out, that's the thigh. All right, and right here, the pants are being stretched. All right, so let's take a look at this. You noticed that. You noticed that the pants were being stretched right here. And that's tough. It's tough because it is real life. Yes, it's real life, but it doesn't help. If it was an animated TV show, that doesn't help us understand which way this character's turning. Now this hip, this is a super clear spot. All right, let's take a look at all right, she's just kind of bumping it out right there because that's where the hip is. And that's where this is where this thing is. What would Christy do? That right there. That's exactly what Christy would do. All right, I can see on the reference the feet are going down this way, so you would think that the edge of the boot is going to come down here, and that's exactly what you did. All right, I can see why you would think that, but again, it's our job to simplify this, so let's try to simplify it. All right, again, this is getting into a shape becoming another shape. Just because this is a photograph, the shape of the leg is kind of morphing into the shape of the foot. Yes, that's the way the picture looks, but it's not. It's our job to clarify what this is. It's a foot, all right? So ideally, we would have a better photo reference than this, so. All right, I'll admit it's really tough. My only suggestion would be to try to retake the photograph with a little bit more clear reference right here. All right, I like this submission. This is really cool. You actually got a background in here. It's a pretty tough perspective going on because you're like looking up at the same time. All right, really cool shot, but your reference is giving you hints of what to do here, and I don't think you were picking up on it, so I'm just gonna kind of point some things out. Your reference is going to do things like this. Look at the way this is going. All right, I'm gonna highlight this. Let's look at that. You can even see it right here. The more you break these things down, you kind of understand which way the body's actually being turned. All right, and we can do all the other fancy stuff that we need to later. It needs to be clear. It has to be clear in order for the audience to read what's going on. All right, if you had the picture of your face, you would find out how your how your hairline is turning on the side of your head. And also you'd be able to measure from this ear to see, and then the bridge of the nose to see how it wraps around. Those are important markers to keep an eye out for. Now let's take a look at yours. You're like, I know which way it turns, but I'm just having to guess how to describe that. All right, that's cool, but you don't have to ever guess with reference. You never have to guess. Whenever you're like, should I put it this way or this way? Go back to the reference. That's your roadmap. There's no guessing there. All right, this is the way the sock would be sitting on the outside of the thigh. It'll be pushed towards the outside. All right, I can see you're kind of trying it with the jacket here. That's good. All right, this part's looking really good. Okay, it's all looking good except for, the roadmap. Just keep an eye out for the roadmap of what your reference is trying to tell you. All right, really cool stuff other than that. All right, let's move on. All right, we got the same thing kind of going on here. This is a really tough shot to try to describe with the reference is really difficult. All right, it's a cool shot, but it's going to be really tough to sell. All right, here's something else that I don't really want you to have to worry about, but phones have a very different type of lenses to other lenses that you'll see in like professional photography or cinematography. Okay, if you have somebody like reaching towards the camera and their hands like way in the foreground and then you see the body way in the background, it's because the camera has a super wide lens. But I can tell what you were trying to do here. You would have pulled it off if you had a wider lens. All right, but I'm assuming you're just using your phone, which is okay. All right, really cool stuff. I think you were doing everything right with the breakdown. All right, and I only know this because I've used different types of lenses before. I've studied all of this stuff and how to do foreshortening whenever you don't have the proper reference. But you take this, make it a little bit bigger, so your thigh is right about here. Then you're gonna take this foot, make that a little bit bigger. Obviously, it's not perfect, but it's a step in the right direction. If you study up enough on photography and cinematography and really good animation, you'll know what looks good and what doesn't. All right, other than that, really good. All right, this person's really got the right idea. Already looking at professional reference. If you're doing a breakdown of a professional artist, you need to be going in and trying to think about why the professional artist did exactly what they did. Look at these lines in this design. Okay, the designer was probably thinking, yes, it would be cool to have these metal bands around this character, but what were they also thinking? They were thinking about the animators, they were thinking about the viewers. The people watching it need to know which way this character's turning in space. This is exactly what Christy is emphasizing here. Where is this character turning? All right, when in doubt, go check out Christy out. Okay, Old Chrysler too. You can see where the emphasis is. You go in here and you can see the turning point. It may be subtle and you may think it doesn't exist, but it does exist very, very subtly. All right, if you take these lines and you follow them, the perspective of the body, it's gonna be following this little booty here. Okay, so when you have to draw this area on your character, you don't have to guess anymore. You know that the body is going to follow a very specific structure. And whenever you do these breakdowns, you'll realize that just because you think something has this, all right, like thighs have a big bump right here, you know, that's just how they work. But if you look at this reference, you're filling in the blanks with how your mind kind of thinks that it is. But as soon as you come in here and you kind of break it down, there you go. You're gonna see that it's actually really, really straight. This person's actually doing something that I would want people to do first. Is draw next to it and think like, okay, this is what I think is going on. And then after that, then you break down what the professional artist had done, and now you're like, oh my God, it's so much more different. And that's when your brain switches to thinking, I thought this was a major curve, but it's actually super straight. Where is the end of the thigh compared to the head? It's right up here. It's actually nearly blocking the face. All right, and lastly, we're gonna look at the head proportion. Maybe your character actually has a head this big, and that's cool. You say, well, my character actually has a really, really big head. It's our job to sell what's happening in the shot, and what's actually happening in this shot is the character's leg is a lot closer to the camera than the head is. So we need to kind of pick and choose our battles here. Do we want the head to be bigger? Do we want the leg to be bigger? Well, the head's technically bigger, but to sell this shot, let's make the head smaller. Okay, so it's really picking and choosing your battles. All right, again, the truth does not matter. It's the clarity of what you're trying to say that matters the most. All right, really cool stuff. I'm really glad that somebody did like an animation breakdown. I really like this reference. Really good reference, really good shot. Awesome stuff. All right, for the top poser, there was a lot to choose from, but I definitely have to go with old Miku Sushi here. All right, awesome pose, awesome design, just all around really cool stuff. Pose, expression, everything about it's just really, really awesome. It's not something I think I'm gonna do all the time, but I just kind of wanted to show everybody submissions because there were so many good ones. I hope I didn't leave anybody out on this, but you know I have a new reference challenge up right now. All right, obviously I want everybody to participate, but especially if you just did this, I would like for you to participate every time. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how you develop and get better as the reference challenges go on. All right, check out everybody who participated in the first reference challenge. All right, check it out.